when we think about other jobs we've had, I've worked construction. I worked in banking. When I left banking, we bought out my father-in-law's grocery store. We built a gas station. We went flat broke. I mean, it was just, there's been a multitude of different careers that I've been blessed to have, and all of them I have been able to deal with the community and with the public. So Dean and I have always said since we've been married that we feel like we were born to serve. It doesn't matter how much salary we have coming in. It seems like at the end of the year we always still have the same. But I truly believe the more that you're blessed to have, the more you should be willing to give. Whether that be a civic organization out in the community, whether it be your church, whether it be a shelter, or whatever it may be. So I feel like I was born to serve, and thankfully God has chosen Campbell County, the place that He allows me to serve. Larry and I were talking when I first got here. When Dean and I first married, we were living in Knoxville. And we found out we were expecting our first child right then. We started praying, God, where would you have us to raise our family? She has her master's in nursing. I had my bachelor's in criminal justice. We felt like God could use us anywhere in the world that He wanted us. And I was driving home one Tuesday, and around Merchants Drive, and there was orange barrels. I think T-Dot had every barrel in East Tennessee up and down 75 at that time. And God said, son, it's time to go home. We've been praying about where God wants us to raise our family. So I pull in the driveway and jump out. And I tell Dean, I said, start packing. She said, where are we going? I said, God said it was time to go home. She said, I'm glad He finally told you. He told me 3 months ago. That goes to show us that sometimes we're a little hard-headed when it comes to listening. But, there's a lot going on as I listen to the announcements. As I left the sheriff's office to come up here, we were bolting a blessing box in the parking lot. That's something that I got approved by the county commission a couple of months ago, which just took some time to get concrete poured, things in the ground, and get everyone on board. This was an idea that was born of one of my sergeants, my staff sergeant. Actually, with realizing that we have a lot of hungry people in Campbell County. Believe it or not, as we think about, we go to our homes and we open our refrigerator and it's full. We open our cabinets and they're full. We come out to something like this and there's more than what we can eat. We have a lot of people that are going to sleep hungry in Campbell County every night. So her idea was to put this blessing box at no expense to the taxpayers. That's the point I had to make to the county commission, that this would be based on volunteers. People could leave stuff, people could take stuff. So if you're down around the courthouse, circle through the parking lot, you will see this gray Rubbermaid box, probably 30 inches wide and 6 feet tall, that has now been mounted there. And I would say before dark tonight, it will be over half full because we've been getting calls. When's this going to be up? When's it going to be up? So that's just one of the ways that we can give a little something back. It's not going to be maybe what they would like, but it may keep someone from going completely hungry. So, y'all have heard something about me. Does anybody have questions about the sheriff's office or about me personally or anything that we have going on? I'm open. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. Yes, sir.
I know you've seen the worst of the worst, in our county, and you have to deal with that daily. What do you think?
You talking about Larry?
No. We have to deal with But so what do you think? Probably drugs, I guess, the biggest reason for that. And if that's true or whatever it is, what do you think we need to do about it? I mean, what can we do about it as a community?
Drugs are the biggest problem that we have. Probably at least 85% of the individuals that we currently have in jail in Campbell County, it's something drug related. I keep up with the population of our jail. Every Monday morning I get a head count. We had 273 inmates yesterday morning.
Wow.
You know, the drugs, I think it's going to help some by tightening up the border. We had so many illegal drugs that were just flowing freely across the border, and I think that's going to help some. I used to tell the kids when I was an SRO, and I try to bring this out when I speak to adults as well. If you hear something, see something, or smell something that doesn't seem right, tell somebody. And our success has not been solely based on deputies or detectives out here in these communities patrolling and doing this preventive effort. It's the community that's picking up the phone and calling us and saying, something doesn't seem right here. There's been 17 cars this morning pulled in and out of Larry's driveway. That's unusual, you know. So the last search warrant that we executed, which was 2 Fridays ago, that stemmed from community complaints. It was somebody just like you and I that saw something that was unusual. It was out of the ordinary. And then we send guys out in unmarked cars that just kind of set up along the side of the road, and they're fixing flat, or they're working on their car, and they observe these things. So the community plays such a big role in whether or not we're successful. We've had the support since I've been sheriff of our county commission, and I'm thankful for that. There's not been anything that I've presented to the county commission that the sheriff's office needed that they have not been able to help me with. You know, we all have a stake in this. You know, as she said, I love the Lord, I love my family, and I love Campbell County. I could have ended up anywhere, but this is where God has put me. I love this place. And, you know, there are some things that I wish were different in Campbell County, but we will deal with them as we go. It's not going to be something that pleases every single individual in this room. There will be things that I like that Larry doesn't like, and maybe Ann likes. You know, so we have to agree at times that we're going to disagree on things. But the drug problem has changed over the last 3 or 4 years. Everyone here was aware when methamphetamine was the problem we were having in Campbell County. When meth was the drug of choice, you couldn't set a weed eater or a chainsaw down anywhere because there was somebody coming along to steal it. Some of you all may have been victimized because of that. The meth, they would take the meth, they would stay up for 3 days, they would steal everything they could get their hands on to get their next fix. Well, when the meth changed to heroin is much cheaper. It doesn't cost as much to get high. You're not going to stay up for 3 days on $20 worth of heroin. So the crime has changed. We're not seeing the burglaries we once seen. We're not seeing the theft cases of people's lawnmowers. We're not dealing with those things. Our closure rate over the last 3 years has exceeded 70%. We're not seeing as many cases, and the cases that we are seeing we're solving. And a lot of that is due to the community. So many people have got doorbell cameras now. They've got home security systems. You can get cameras put up on your house for a few $100s now. You can go to Sam's or Walmart. You can order them online and stick them up. So technology has helped a lot with being able to solve those crimes. You know, if the drug changes, then crime patterns will change as well. So I'm not thankful for heroin at all, but I'm thankful that the types of crimes that are being committed have been on the decline consistently. So, someone else?
I think of active shooters and things that we hear in the news that act like churches, like schools, like, you know, where people are harmed. What is your concern? What are you doing as a sheriff's department to help train, equip, counsel the schools? Or how do you combat being vulnerable?
Coming from an SRO background, I feel like our schools and our children are the greatest asset that we have. Because the future of Campbell County really doesn't rely on us. I mean, there's a few of you in here that are probably younger than me, but there's several of you that are older than me. It's these children that are coming up, and if we can't protect them and we can't give them a safe environment to get an education. The very first day that I took office, September the 1st, 2022, I had detectives covering schools to make sure that we did not have a school that was left unprotected. Because there was not enough SROs on staff to cover all 13 schools in the county. I came in and I said, until we are staffed in our schools, your office is going to be at one of these schools. So since then, for about the last 2 years now, we have been fully staffed in all 13 schools. We have a certified SRO for every school in the county and 2 for the comprehensive high school. As far as churches go, we offer a security training for any church that would like us to come out. My captain, Matt Wasson, he has had the training and stuff to come out and to teach that. We actually had one scheduled for 2 Saturdays ago and he got really sick. We did that in half a dozen or so churches throughout the county. So if your church would like to have someone come out and we walk the building, we look at it, we say, here are some areas of concern. You may want to think about doing this or doing that. Obviously, we can't make anyone do anything, but we can give you some ideas in these situations to where it would make your church or your business or whatever a little bit safer. But school safety is a top priority. We will not allow our schools to go unprotected. The SRO grant, that has been game-changing, not only for Campbell County, but for so many counties across Tennessee. State of Tennessee, and Dennis would have some information on this probably, they award $75,000 per public school across the state. And I think it is somewhere around $60 million a year. Does that sound right, Dennis?
That's right.
$60 million a year. We applied for it the first year I was sheriff, and we've received it every year since. We've received $975,000 each year as an SRO grant. Campbell County was fortunate. Prior to that grant, the county commission and the school board had seen a need for these SROs, and they had funded those positions. So what we have been able to do is we have been able to equip our SROs with the latest and the greatest technology, training, equipment that I would put our SROs up against any in the state, maybe the southeast, as far as training and equipment goes. Money was already there to pay them, so let's take this grant money and let's equip them, and that's what we've done. So I hope that grant stays around for a long, long time.
By the way, Larry said all those cars in the driveway, he's having a Tupperware party.
But you can trust him.
The 2 things that affect the bank the most, and I think they probably agree, is we see such an increase in elder abuse. And then identity theft. People don't walk in with a gun anymore, as me and Cindy know.
Yeah.
They come in with your identification and they pretend to be somebody.
They have their own ID with everything on it, complete identity theft. And recently, what we're experiencing is check washing. And that came right out of the Postal Service. So the checks were being taken out of the mail, they wash them, leave your signature on it, make it out to somebody else, and then it clears your account. There's nothing right now, really, to stop that from happening. And mindsets need to be changed and developed on that because it's devastating. I know we have insurance to protect our customers and our members from that, but but there seems to be no penalty to the people that are doing it until it's such a large scale. We're talking millions of dollars. I know I had 2 different members, and it was well over $20,000 that we had to give those people back. It's a big problem. And I don't know what the answer is.
One thing on the elder abuse is where you have caretakers or caregivers that are basically stealing their money. They find out it's just like rampant. I mean, it's like they identify people who might have money, they show up, they'll come through the drive-through. Jared Effler did a thing for all of us, and most of all of us, I think, went to that. And the state seems to have picked up that you can report it through what he described. I guess that's correct. And I saw there was a case, prosecuted, which was great, because that's tends to stop people. But it's been just awful. I can't describe how bad it is where somebody, that's what they're doing, but you're kind of making an accusation too if you say it.
It's very touchy.
It is. Because as a banker, you just have to be careful about it.
I was getting ready to say, I don't know if I mentioned, but I was a banker at Angelico at Union for a little over 7 years. We had a situation where a man, fairly wealthy, some ladies had befriended him. They had moved in. They were taking care of him. He had bought them a car. He was writing them checks. This man still has got his right mind. At what point can I call a son or a daughter and say, hey, your dad is wasting his money on this? But part of that, and this is not a popular thing to say, if the son and the daughter had been spending a little more time with daddy in his last years, he wouldn't have had someone half his age move in. But it is a problem, and there is the elder abuse hotline thing now that's set up. We've worked several cases in the last 3 years. One of them was at Deerfield. The lady actually gave him, I think it was $30,000 in cash. Guy pulled up in a white van. They had called and pretended to be her grandson in jail.
Yes.
Somebody remember that case?
Yeah.
And we ended up being able to chase that down. It was a multi-state thing. This guy had done this, this group had done this over several different states, and he got prosecuted. And we had a lady that came in, I think it was a Verizon scam, that she hadn't received, wasn't a member of something. There was something hit her account. And when she called them, they said, oh, that was a mistake. We need to do this. It was one of your all's banks, because she came and got a $50,000 cashier's check because they said that, you remember the one I'm talking
That
about?
was mine, yes. I got the FBI involved in that. First time I ever talked to the FBI, I'll tell you. We tried to stop the delivery of that through UPS and missed it, just missed it being delivered. And the FBI wouldn't even knock on their door. It was awful.
You know what FBI stands for? Funded but incompetent. The one I'm talking about, they didn't follow through with it. She actually came back to the office, and one of our investigators got a hold of whichever bank it was and figured out that this was a scam.
Yeah, that was mine. It was mine. She ended up moving back to New Jersey, bless her heart. But that was devastating. They knew exactly where the people were, but they would not go get it because she willingly came and bought a cashier's check, even though we were saying, what's this for? And people on Facebook trash the banks. They're so nosy. It's none of your business. Well,
Protect you.
we're trying to keep you from losing your money. And we always ask, well, what's it for? Well, do you know this person? Where did you meet them? Have you actually seen them? Trying to explain that situation to that woman, she just was not listening.
Especially the romance scam.
Yeah.
And people,
The TBI hotline, matter of fact, that was my building, 1-800-PAUSE Tennessee, PAUSE TN. And there's $500 million worth of theft that we know of in the state of Tennessee last year. And they say probably only half of those reports were probably near $1 billion. But they can pause that now by just calling that. Even a person at home, like you were talking about a while ago, even if it's a relative or whatever, they can get the money paused and transferred. So, and we're going to get investigators out next year for every judicial district. Have this one investigator that can go out and actually investigate the corruption.
It's sad that people are taking advantage of our aging society. They really are. And you know, the biggest scams that we hear are these love scams.
Yes.
You know, they're going to come and see me. They love me. They just need another $700 to get the train ticket, but they love me, you know.
And they've never met him.
Never met him. I got a call last week. The fella, I think it was his nephew, had met some girl, supposedly some girl, online, and they were sending him a plane ticket to fly to the border, and they were going to come across the Canadian border and pick him up. And I said, have they asked for any money yet? He said, no, not yet. I said, well, that's coming. You need to send us some money so we can get this ticket. I personally I have family members that have been scammed out of well over $100,000 over the years. And they're going to bring me a car. No, they're not going to bring you a car. Oh, well, they're going to deposit all of this money. No, they're not going to deposit all of this money.
You all heard of the Publishers Clearinghouse, right? You don't see it on TV anymore, but it does still exist. But they don't have you send them the taxes before you get your prize, just so you know. Okay? I have warned you, I did my diligence. You do not have to send them anything first. And I had this one elderly lady, if she sees me out somewhere, she's probably going to beat me up. She did not like me by the end of our time together because it was every day coming in. Well, they're going to send me a Bentley. I want a Bentley from them too, and I just have to send them. She did send them. She cashed in her retirement. They sold their house.
Oh.
Yes, she sent them right around $200,000.
And I've got a family member that has been scammed out of over $100,000.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And they won't listen.
No,
They won't listen.
no, I was the bad guy. I was the bad guy. And she would have them on the phone upside down, and I finally said, who's on the phone? I'm very usually nice. I'm usually very nice. And I'm like, who's on the phone? And she's like, it's none of your, I said, you need to hang up the phone or you can leave my office because I'm not doing this anymore.
I've been asked to come and move cars out of the driveway so the Publishers Clearinghouse van can get in.
I had a guy tell me he wanted to send $20,000 to his fiance because she needed an operation. She was in Saudi Arabia, and she was going to Egypt and had an operation and she was going to die. And I said, when did y'all get engaged? And he told me about a month ago. And I said, when did you meet her? He said, well, I've never met her. And he was going to send her $20,000. We got to stop before you did it.
I know there's a time limit on all this. I can see Any other questions for me?
Anytime I needed you or your officers, they've been just like that. So I deeply appreciate that.
I just wanted to say thank you for all that you all do for the county.
I've got some business cards. Sometimes I forget, but anyone who doesn't have my personal cell phone number, it's on my business card. They said I was crazy for doing that. I said during the campaign, it was everywhere except on the billboards. So, anyone who would like a card, I'd be glad to give you a card. My phone stays on until my head hits my pillow at night, and it comes back on when I wake up in the mornings. I have a county phone. We call it the red phone. My mom and dad don't even have that phone number. It is only for the division heads. So if something happens at 3 o'clock in the morning and the red phone rings, I might as well go ahead and brush my teeth and put my shoes on because it's going to be a long night. Anyone else? Another question? I don't know.
Just have one more comment. class should be contacting you, if not today, if they haven't already, about our law enforcement day coming up. So we're hoping that you'll be able to participate with us with that. So Heather Jordan, I think it's either Heather or Keisha Howard is going to be reaching out to you. So we look forward to that.
If you would like a card, raise your hand, I'll bring it around, and somebody can close us out.